Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Akim, Shalom, and a few Aquas that happen to watch. Uh, this is Nauman with DC Camp, and lo and behold, I ran across this. And this is directed at these assholes who think we collectively as a people, all we do is gripe and, you know, moan for no reason just to get attention. And, this is, what's this called? If you know what gaslighting is, this is all what they do with these Edomites, these so-called white people do. Is called racial gaslighting. All right, let me look that up real quick. We'll get gaslighting first. Uh, let's see, racial. Here it is. What is racial gaslighting? Let's get something more current. Racial gaslighting, racial justice resources for activists. All right, let's see right here. This is uh, just a few days ago. Racial justice resources for activists, advocates, and allies. All right. Now they got, oh Lord, I didn't even see that. But see, this is the thing. I'm glad I did this because look what they're trying to lump in with us, and it's always the case. And this again is a plan of these motherfuckers. All right. Not only do we have the Amalekites pretending to be us, they stole our identity, but then as so we don't get the full attention for our plight as a people, here they are, they lump all this other shit in here. Look, got black feminism. And if you go down here, it says LGBTQIA. God dang, plus. All right. Like, damn. All right. But here we go. Stay on point. And this is something that our people never learn. This diversity shit, ultimately, it hurts only us. All right. Other people have, and that's the thing that professor years ago, I believe he was somewhere down in South Carolina, I don't know, he had tenure somewhere down there. He had the dreadlocks, he came on the video and he said, he just came to the conclusion that, you just got to kill all white people. I forget it's Gamboni or Gambo, something like that was his last name. But anyway, what it comes down to, you look at a map of the world, and he was on to something, but that's not what we advocate here at Great Millstone. Uh, the Most High is going to take care of this, and sooner than you might expect. You know, Zephaniah 3:8. Wait ye upon me, saith the Most High, until I rise up to the prey, which He is going to do. But when he went to the map, he noticed that everything is in these motherfuckers is named after them. Got down in where is that? Somewhere down in I forget where. I used to know where all that was, but Lake Victoria after Queen Victoria. Everything's named after these motherfuckers, and that's biblical. That's scripture. That's what they do. It's telling who you're dealing with, and more importantly, who we are. But anyway, back to this. Racial gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation that makes people of color question their own experiences of racism. All right. It says the political, social, economic, and cultural process that perpetuates and normalizes a white supremacist reality through pathologizing those who resist. And we've all experienced it. Well, despite what you're going through, it could always be worse. We Jews, we had it, shit like that. And a lot of Jake fall for it. You're right. It could be worse. Psychological manipulation. Racial spectacle narratives that obfuscate the existence of a white supremacist state power structure. All right. And here is some examples. Let's see. How can we say for sure it was racially motivated? They ask these questions. It says, How to recognize if you're being racially gaslighted. It's worth recognizing racial gaslighting when it occurs. You sense something is wrong. They blame the victim. They police your tone. All right. It says racial gaslighting. How does white supremacy, the systemic covert and overt version, remain inextricably woven into the ideological fabric of the United States? That's what others have said in another way when they said talk about systemic racism. It's intertwined in the very fabric. It's never gonna, you can't, and that's what a lot of our people don't understand. They marching up and down the streets asking a piece of shit, and that's what you're dealing with here in an Edomite, a so-called white person, to, give you any kind of justice when he's incapable, and I stress, incapable of doing so. All right. He says, we argue that racial gaslighting, the political, social, economic, and cultural process, all right, we've already read that, normalizes a white supremacist reality through pathologizing those who resist, offers a framework to understand its maintenance in the United States. All right. Let's see. I thought they had some other, let's see, just keeps repeating itself here. It says, another one, definition says, racial gaslighting is used to make people of color feel invalidated. All right. And you constantly question everything. Because it's insidious, but at the same time, it's also just blatantly out there. All right. It's so pervasive in that they're so quick to turn it back on you, and it's like they make you feel guilty that you even said anything. It's it's weird, but this is a weapon of theirs, and it tells you here, or tries to, how to deal with it. Let's see. It says, I'm going to skip down here. It says, what is gaslighting and how, to deal with it. It says, we've already read, it says, I think of gaslighting as trying to associate someone with the label crazy, all right? It's making someone seem or feel unstable, irrational, and not credible. Making them feel like what they're seeing or experiencing isn't real. That they're making it up, that no one else will believe them. It says gaslighting involves an imbalance of power between the abuser and the person they're gaslighting. Abusers often exploit stereotypes or vulnerabilities related to gender, sexuality, race, nationality, and or class. All right. Now, I just put that out there because I felt it necessary before I go into the main topic here. And this is Sundown towns. The beloved elder Taza Dagba, the historian of Great Millstone, did a series, I believe, addressing this among other topics. But it says, black truck driver tells horrifying story of his night in a sundown town. All right, a black truck driver shared the story of his night in Vidor, Texas, a notorious sundown town. 2022. And you're still dealing with shit like this, and yet we're crazy, we're paranoid. That's why I read you racial gaslighting. They label us with these labels. Really, this is so we don't bring it up, so we can spare their consciousness, all right? But fuck them. All that so-called white fragility, that's their problem. We're bringing out the truth. Anyway, it says sundown towns are all white parts of the United States considered to be unsafe for black people after dark. The term goes back to segregation era signs that said colored people had to leave by sundown, but continues to describe communities that retain a wholly or predominantly white or Edomite population by systematically keeping out minorities. Vidor, or Vidor, was a haven for the Ku Klux Klan in the 1990s when a federal judge ordered the county to desegregate public housing in 1993. The KKK held rallies in Vidor, prompting Texas Monthly to run a cover story calling it Texas's most hate-filled town. Vidor is 98.4% white and 0.1% black, all right? My night in a sundown town, all right? He says his TikTok from May 3rd has been viewed over 875,000 times. And I'm going to go right here. And we're going to go to TikTok as a whole. It says my night in a sundown town. And that's just not him. This is on the upper left-hand side. All right. And for those of you that think people are just trying to get attention, all right, look at all this. Among other places, but we're talking about this one right now. All right. And what looks like an Edomite here. All right. And look at this. You know, and there's all kind of scriptures connected with that, which we will get into. One in particular says, the curses that are on us will identify us. All right. Here goes this Jake again, my night in a sundown town. He was a trucker. All right. You always have some coon. All right. It says white folks, and there's another one is Whitesboro, Texas, ran away their black residents in 1903 for a crazy reason. All right. Let's tick on that real quick, see what that says.
I've said it before and I'll say it again because I found it to be true based on my own research. In James Lawrence's book, Sundown Towns, he states how if a town is pretty much all white, it's because at one point in history, all the black folks were driven out through acts of terror. And afterwards, the town was established as a sundown town. And you thought we just liked the big city? Nah, we went there because we found safety and solace amongst each other. So in Whitesboro, Texas, hold on. The name is Whitesboro, so you already know what's going on. But anyway, in Whitesboro, Texas, in August of 1903, a black man was pulled from jail after he was accused of assaulting a white woman and hung from a tree. The white folks who did it thought he was dead, so they left, but he survived. A sheriff came by, took him down from the tree, and took him back to jail. The white folks who did it found out and went through and pillaged all of the black neighborhoods. They went from house to house using violence to force black people to leave. And the last 17 were tied to a tree and whipped and forced to leave after. I said it before and I'll say it again.
So there you go. So we supposed to be crazy, and I got to hear about this holla hoax shit every year about these fakers, these pretenders, and all that does is draw attention away, as it was designed to, of who the real Israelites are. I'm so sick of seeing these commercials for the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews or some shit like that. You know, bleeding the people dry. You motherfuckers own all the banks. You know, why you got your people being hungry? Because they're trying at the same time play the victim, but it doesn't work because you own everything. You know, it's sad, and you know, you got so many stupid people, all right, that feed into that shit, and that's partly due because of, well, not in part, in a large part, it's due to Edomite supremacy, so-called white supremacy. You know, I was trying to get some more comments, but this is all about sundown towns here. You know, all these people have made videos, you know, again, the curses, all this for people that otherwise we can't defend ourselves. You know, that's why we try to encourage our people to come back to your power, find out who you are, as we're telling you, All right. Uh, and understand that the Most High's name is Yahweh and His Son's name is Yahweh Shai, not JC and God. All right. Let's hear what this guy here has to say.
I'll explain to you quickly what a sundown town is. A sundown town means if you have more melanin in your skin than we like around here, then you better get your ass out of town before the sun goes down. I'll explain to you quickly what a sundown.
Did you hear that? Straight and to the point.
Sundown towns. You're probably wondering, what is a sundown town? A sundown town is a town or a place of jurisdiction primarily occupied by a white presence. The reason why it is called a sundown town is because for black people, being in that town or jurisdiction when the sun is down is not really advised, especially during the times of the early 1900s into the 60s, especially in the 1920s. What would happen to a black person in a sundown town when the sun was down, you may ask? Let's just say a black person could be subjected to any action that would cause the absence of life. This is why the Green Book was created. It was a book that black people would take with them so they could know where to safely travel, so they could avoid sundown towns or areas with high volatile white populations. And the scariest part about this is sundown towns are still active and are still very much alive.
There you go. Still active and still very much alive. All right, let's go back to the article. All right. And he's telling you, he had to make a delivery and he wasn't supposed to pick up because he got there kind of late and he had to stay over. And here it is right here. He said he got to the exit. He said, I'm like, wait a minute. It took me to exit 861A. For those who don't know, it's a place called Medora, Texas, all right? He said, pretty much everybody I know in Texas that's black tells me do not go to Medora, Texas. Still, it was about 5:30 p.m. and his load did not deliver until 8 a.m. the next morning. He says, while driving to the company destination, he saw a bunch of Confederate flags and the doll of a black man wrapped in a Confederate flag hanging from a tree by his neck. When Gideon got to the site, he heard a security guard alerting coworkers to a code red. On a cell phone, he said the guard could be heard saying that he did not want to be responsible for this guy's safety because we stopped taking loads at 4 o'clock. Shortly after, another man arrived and quickly unloaded Gideon's truck. He told the driver, dude, you might want to get up out of here as soon as possible. We're at sundown. You want to leave here now. Don't stop until you at least get to Beaumont. Gideon asked whether there were police in the area, but the man told him that police turned a blind eye, like they always did, at the very least. But in most instances, they were in on it, all right? He says, Gideon asked whether there were police in the area, but the man told him that, like I said, they turned a blind eye. The driver took his advice and headed to Beaumont, where he slept with a rifle. This is 2022. This is 2022. Things are becoming so volatile now because of this pandemic and what's resulting from that, with the economy being deliberately sacrificed, if you will, so they can bring in this digital dollar. Oh, it's going to get worse. And in times past, when instances where the economy went to shit, this is what happened. They came after us. It's in Wikipedia if you want to look up lynching, and it goes to the section where it talks about lynching in the U.S., especially in the South. All right. So here we are, and this shows you how much of a coward these Edomites, these so-called white people, are, and again, this is the day and age where people are finally starting to publicly come out and let you know that they're aware of the history now, whereas because these things weren't affecting them as they are now, they didn't give a shit. They just let you know what kind of hypocrites you're dealing with. So don't get so appreciative when you hear Edomite or some other nationality talk about, well, this is how you treated, the Negroes, so-called, or the African Americans. Like they're complaining like, no, they knew what was going on all along. And that's what, what's her name? Jane Elliott. She said in one of her lectures. And let's see if I can find that real quick. I want to, hold on. Let me see. Real quick. Let's see. Jane Elliott. Here we go. College class. Let's see if this is the one. It's only about 50-something seconds. No, that's not it. Let's see. This is it. Listen very carefully because she points out that, well, let's just hear her say.
I want every white person in this room who would be happy to be treated as this society in general treats our citizens, our black citizens. If you, as a white person, would be happy to receive the same treatment that our black citizens do in this society, please stand.
Look at that.
You didn't understand the correction. If you white folks want to be treated the way blacks are in this society, stand. Nobody's standing here.
Mm-hmm.
That says very plainly that you know what's happening. You know you don't want it for you. I want to know why you're so willing to accept it or to allow it to happen for others.
There you go. Because they are incapable, despite all this bullshit, BLM and all that. That's not what they're doing it for. All right. They want some of that money just in case it comes down. They want a piece of the action. All right. That's what they've always been in it for. But in doing so, also, they took the power away from us. All right. I hope you understand that. See, they learned the lessons from the 50s and 60s. What was broadcast around the world with the water hoses, Bull Connor down there in Alabama, and all that other stuff that was going on, sicking the dogs on us and shit like that. The National Guard, all that. They learned from that. But our people haven't, sadly, because they got too comfortable. All I want is a job. Still slaves. Oh man. Hey, so let's see, I want to get, I thought there were some comments. I know I saw some wait a minute. But anyway, some of the comments were like, oh, here's some, let's see. Nope. But in any case, one of the responses I saw was, just to point out that this is 2022, like I said at the onset, and you're still dealing with shit like this, and this is just proof that we try to tell you peons out there, they were never meant. All right. They were never meant. They're incapable. These are the wicked. It says, James chapter 5, verse 6, ye have condemned and killed the just, and he does not resist you. All right. Or you go to the history of this devil, coming from when we're on this side of the world, where, we were all, let me get that real quick. We were pressed together as both northern and southern. Let me get that real quick. And this is the only place that could have happened because The northern kingdom came over to this side of the world circa 700 BC, you know, and we didn't come over here until early 1600s. So you see, and they were dealing with Columbus and this bullshit roughly 130 years before we were. All right. So anyway, let's see. I think it's 33. Hold on. Here it is. Yeah. This is Jeremiah chapter 50 and 33, and it says, "Thus saith the Most High, the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah." So you got the northern kingdom and southern kingdom here respectively were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. And that's the same. That's what we're dealing with. This man does not want to let us go, just like the Pharaoh of ancient Egypt. This new Pharaoh has got the same matter, because we have been, he's lived deliciously, as the scriptures say in Revelation 18, off of us. See, our people don't understand the totality of slavery. They just think, well, 1865, after the 13th Amendment and the end of chattel slavery, they just look, no, they don't understand. It's sad they don't want to understand. They're happy in their ignorance, and yet they still don't see what's happening. So it's like, it's human nature. Notice what I said, it's human nature. After you keep trying to help someone over and over again, at some point you just gotta say, fuck you. And a lot of our people are gonna die as a result. But that's on them. They still believe that piece of shit that's set up in these churches to lie to you, to deceive you. All right. So, hey, we try. Ezekiel 3rd chapter. We tell you these things, therefore the blood is off our hands. All right. Let's see. Because, hey, what's getting ready to happen? For all these tough guys out here in our community, so-called, these Edomites, these so-called white people, got some shit for your motherfucking ass. All right, we just look at the last 10 years. They've been cleaning up, grabbing up shit since Obama was in office. He's not even our people. All right, just in case you didn't know. All right, they ready. You see them jogging up and down, even the women. And what are our people doing in here? Smoking that shit, eating all this bullshit. We're in for a slaughter, basically. All because you rejected knowledge. In fact, since I say that, yeah, this is why. Because you rejected knowledge. Let's go to, you might have to load, so Salakia. The RAM on this thing. We're going to go to Hosea real quick. Start at the top. It says, "Hear the word of the Most High Yahweh, ye children of Israel," not anybody else. "For the Most High hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there's no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land. By swearing and lying and killing," this is our people, "and stealing and committing adultery," big time, and all the music and all these TV shows they watch, adultery. They break out and blood touches blood, black on black violence. "Therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of heaven, yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away." All right. So there's a big thing. All right. And down here in verse 6, it says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Just what I've been saying. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power. I will also forget thy children. That's the ultimate goal here, because way back in Exodus 19:6, isn't that what it says? We shall be. Let's go to Exodus 19. All right. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. This is what was supposed to happen, but what happened? Somehow along the way, what happened? This is Jeremiah 2. Why? Because we want to listen to everybody else, except for, well, I'll go back to Deuteronomy 4. You know, it told you these laws, statutes, commandments are for us in order for us to set an example for the other nations. But we didn't do that. So what happened? He stripped us of everything. Jeremiah 17:4. Even the name. This is Jeremiah 2, verse 3. Israel was holiness unto the Most High Yahweh, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend. Evil shall come upon them, saith the Most High Yahweh. So ultimately, that's what's happening. We're seeing these curses being transferred even now. Deuteronomy 30:7. 4. Hear ye the word of the Most High Yahweh, O house of Jacob, and all the families of the house of Israel. Where is anybody else? Where are all the other nations on the earth mentioned in that? 5. Thus saith the Most High, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me? Everybody wants to be in Islam. They want to be a Buddhist. They want to be all this other bullshit, all right, instead of what they are. And these preachers and these other pieces of shit that are set up in these churches, they got a lot to pay for. It says, and they have walked after vanity, because it is all vain, and are become vain. 6. Neither said they, where is the Most High Yahweh that brought us up out of the land of Egypt, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and of pits, through a land of drought and of the shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through, and where no man dwelt. And I brought you into a plentiful country to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when ye entered, ye defiled my land and made mine heritage an abomination. And ever since then, we have been fucked. Wow. 8. The priest said not, where is the Most High? And they that handle the law knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me, and the prophets prophesied by Baal. They do the same thing today, and walk after things that do not profit. Wherefore I yet plead with you, said the Most High, and with your children's children will I plead, meaning judge. 10. For pass over the isles of Kittim, and see, and send unto Kedar, and consider diligently, and see if there be such a thing. 11. Hath a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? But my people have changed their glory for that which doth not profit, and continue to do so. Be astonished, O ye heavens, at this, and be horribly afraid. Be ye very desolate, saith the Most High. 13. Here's the point. For my people have committed 2 evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewed them out cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. All these other so-called gods and these doctrines thereof are no profit to us. It helps our enemies, and they know this. That's why Psalms 83rd chapter is so important, because they've all come together to keep us from becoming a nation. And verse 6 in that chapter has the list, and who is at the top of the list? Edom, the so-called white man. And second, them nasty-ass Arabs. That's Ishmael. And then you have Moab. And then you get them nasty Hamites, so-called Africans, which we are not, and never have been. It tells you that in the Bible dictionary. All right. 14, is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? And we're telling you why we're spoiled, because we forgot our power. And there are others out there that are trying to make sure we still can. And they're so afraid of what's going on now. Revelation 11th chapter, verses 7 and 8. They see what's going on now that we're standing up on our feet, and they're terrified. All right, so they're trying to get these things set up to where they can establish this new world order. When it goes digital, that is it. Ain't gonna be no more working side gigs or anything like that, because everything they're gonna know what you're buying, where you were, and these idiots really think it's for their benefit. Wow. And this all started because of what? Sundown towns, because nothing has changed, people. Nothing has changed. All this window dressing bullshit. And our people fall for it. Our people fall for it. They vote these pieces of shit in. Actually, they're not vote, but, we know what's going on, but oh man, you really think one party cares more about us than the other? Just because they smile in your face? You did exactly what they knew you were going to do. You think Trump is racist because he wears his emotions on his sleeve. Hell, I appreciate that more because I know where you're coming from. But you got this sly, old, slick, pedophile piece of shit. And is known to be an avowed racist, meaning he openly declares it. But no, our people fell for the shit like they fell for Bill Clinton. So sad. And these Edomites, these so-called white people, they see this shit. Say, these fucking dumbass niggers. And they are. Why? Because, well, let's close it out with this. Let's go to Lamentations. This is our people. You could easily say Isaiah chapter 30 verse 1 and chapter 31 and 1. Both those chapters. Because the point is you're asking your enemy to help you. And it's not going to work out very well. This is Lamentations chapter 4 verse 17. It says, as for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. Vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. Same thing applies here. You're got people that of our nation that refuse to acknowledge stuff like this still exists because they're in that go along to get along spirit, so they can get all these nice cars and they can get a nice house with the white picket fence and the 2 or 3.5 children and all that other bullshit. Not realizing that you enjoy privileges, not rights. Privileges can easily be taken away. You fell, most of our people fell for the okie-doke. Slavery never ended. Emancipation does not mean what you thought it meant. We were just transferred from private ownership to become wards of the state. That's it. That's it. Hey, so with that, I didn't mean for it to go this long. Oh boy. Hey, that's the spirit. So with that, shalom.